Listeners be advised, this episode is rated R for colorful language.
All right, welcome to Season 2 of the Sporting Chance Podcast, your home for all things falconry and unconventional hunting techniques.
This podcast is brought to you by MountainStateFalconrySupply.com. Check out Heather McNeamer's store for your East Coast falconry goods.
And also, this podcast is brought to you by MidnightFalconry.com, the makers of the tightest braided equipment on the market.
Check out supporter of the show, Sean O'Neill's Kennel, Clover Creek Canine on Facebook. Your source for performance canines since 1983.
And let us not forget our boy, Seth Roy, at NorthMountainGoshawks.com. And if you'd like to support the podcast, visit SportingChancePod.com for all of your merch needs.
All right, Jeff Fincher, welcome to the Sporting Chance Podcast.
Yeah, glad to be here, man. We are finally making it happen.
We're honored to have you.
So, Jeff, for those out there who are not aware, you are a falconer.
Yes, that is correct. A very loose definition of that, I think. So,
well, you're mostly known for flying red-tailed hawks. Tell us a little bit about your history doing the sport.
Yeah, man. So, I grew up hunting and fishing. I used to do a little bit of camera work for some outdoor shows. And so I watched a lot of outdoor shows. And one time I saw falconry on a show, and a guy was hunting rabbits of a red-tailed hawk. And I'm always just kind of like birds of prey. And at the time, I did not know that you could really hunt with them. I thought that people just kind of had them as pets. And
that's still
so
kind of
cool. Yeah, when I saw somebody hunting with one, I was like, oh man, I've got to do that. So that's kind of where it all got started.
So about how long have you been into it?
So I got my first bird in 98. So we're looking at like 26, 27 years now.
That's awesome. Huh?
Yeah, it's a lot of red tails ago.
Yeah, and you've pretty much flown primarily red tails and I think a Harrowswalk at one point I remember seeing.
Yeah, well, I've flown a bunch of stuff, man. I mean, I've almost always had a red tail. I've flown several Harris Hawks, and of course, like abatement Harris Hawks as well. Aplomado falcons. I messed around with red shoulder hawk one time. I've had several kestrels. Flew a European kestrel. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've kind of dabbled with a lot of stuff, but just kind of always had a red tail.
Out of those birds, I want to talk about two of those for sure. European kestrel, or do you call it a Eurasian kestrel? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the red-shouldered hawk.
Yeah. Well, the red-shouldered hawk's going to be a short conversation.
All right, let's hear it.
I mean, it was terrible. So I think that was like, I don't know. I think I was about 3 years into falconry at the time. So my background, I had a paper sponsor when I got started in Alabama. There just really wasn't anybody that was active at the time that was anywhere close to me. So my sponsor lived quite a ways away, and I was learning a lot of stuff on my own. So I guess my third year, I ended up trapping a red shoulder hawk. I knew it was a red shoulder hawk when I trapped it. It wasn't like an accident or anything. And I decided I would try it, and it just wasn't interested in anything. I couldn't get it, I didn't know a lot what I was doing at the time either, but it just naturally did not really want to do what I wanted it to do. It's extremely vocal, always really wild acting, especially like approaching it in the mew or whatever. It kind of acted like I had never, had my hands on it before. So it's kind of like Groundhog Day. Every day was just kind of like almost felt like you were starting over. So I didn't keep that bird long. Never took any game with it. So I even shot a squirrel and it fell out of the tree, like right in front of the bird, and he just looked at it. So after that, man, I cut him loose. So and went and trapped a red tail.
Yeah. So just, do you think that there's potential there? Do you think that all these people that have their theories, is it valid or not? What do you think?
For a squirrel bird, no. I mean, really. I mean, I've known some pretty decent falconers who have tried them. You have some marginal success, here and there. But really you want something consistent, I don't really think it's worth it. I mean, if you want to go out and try to, just do something different and, reinvent the wheel, so to speak, then, knock yourself out. You may get that one, but I just feel like the odds are really, really low. And if you're trying to have a good season, or you want to invest your time wisely and you really enjoy hunting and having fun and taking game, then it's not a bird it's really worth messing with.
Yeah, that's a good assessment. I kind of feel I have a nest literally in my front yard as we speak. So I see him all the time, and the male comes back, with everything from frogs from the pond, sparrows, starlings, tons of little birds. I think I saw a dove one day. So I just think that when people get them, and I joined that little group, that Apex group.
Oh, you didn't get kicked out?
Oh, they kicked me. They kicked me out. Yeah, the guy's an absolute lunatic. He's clinically. There's something wrong with him for sure, 100%. I'm not trying to be mean. He's a mentally ill individual. The guy who runs that thing with the hat. Yeah. And he kicked me out for a typo. I don't know if Aaron, did I tell this story on the show before?
I'm not sure if you have. Go ahead.
It's a pretty good story though. So I joined the group because I'm despite what people think, I'm open-minded. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, let me join this group. Let me see what guys are doing. It's a cool bird. They're obviously capable of certain things. They're very accipiter-like in the way they move and their tails. And I've heard stories of them chasing flickers around, corkscrewing around trees, trying to catch them and stuff. They're obviously successful in the wild. So let me join this group and look at it. It was just a bunch of bullshit baggy videos, and I had a red shoulder, the same pair that's in this tree. I had one that would hang around my yard, and every day when I got done hawking, I'd walk across the yard with the goss on the glove and my bag over my shoulder. And if he was in the yard, I would get as close as I could to him, kind of hide the goss or put the goss away. And then I would take a front leg of a rabbit and launch it up in the air to him. And he'd snap. It took him a while. It would usually land on the snow, and then he'd go down and get it. But then I got him to the point where he'd fly out and catch it and fly away with it. And, so I got a cool video, and it was slow-mo, and I posted it in that group, and the auto spell check on my phone put red-tailed hawk instead of red-shouldered. And I said, awesome interaction with a red-tailed hawk in my yard today. I meant to put red-shoulder, but I posted it without checking it. Everybody who follows me knows that I misspell stuff all the time.
Yeah, you were homeschooled.
No, but I just didn't notice it. I just posted it and went about my day. And then, there's a bunch of comments on it, and then the guy who runs the page lost his mind on me, went crazy. You think we're stupid? That's obviously a red-shouldered hawk. I will not tolerate this on my page, and the rules of the page clearly state red shoulders only. I'm like, yeah, I said it was just a typo, and then when I went to answer him, it was you're no longer able to post. So then I DM'd him, and then he's like, no, it's okay. We all make mistakes. Maybe you can learn your birds better next time and understand what you're looking at. And I was like, dude, are you you're kidding me? He's like, no, it's okay. LOL. It's okay. You'll be fine. Just keep studying your birds. You'll get better. I'm like, dude, are you out of your mind? And then we started fighting. And I was like, listen, bro, I joined the group to try to have an open mind. And you're literally just proving everybody's point that this whole thing is just a shit show in here. And you're proving my point. And then he blocks me. And then I lost my temper. And then I tried to find him on Facebook. On Facebook, he blocked me. And then I tried to find him on Instagram, and I couldn't find him there. And then I went on YouTube trying to find him on YouTube. And I went down the rabbit hole of this lunatic. And I hate to call him a lunatic, but he really is a lunatic. I don't know what else to say. and I found one of his videos, and this guy apparently he's like a knife fighter. This guy, he's got videos.
Oh, yeah.
He's got videos on YouTube of him with like this weird ass outfit, like doing like these like knife fighting drills in the dark in his basement. And I'm like, holy crap, yo, this guy's a psychopath.
What are you thinking messing with him,
dude? I don't care, bro. I'll take that knife from him, bro. I don't give a shit, bro.
That throat slit we were talking about in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I'm kind of convinced he's just trolling us all, and like all the members of his group are just different profiles of him.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, there's a couple people. I just
go ahead. It's so wild. It's hard for me to believe that it's true.
It really is, and I have like, and I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have a very high view of myself. I know like if you, Jeff, or Aaron, that's why I asked you what your opinion was, because I'm like, if Jeff messed around with one, he'd have a really good idea that I could trust of what his thoughts are on it, rather than just some anecdotal thing from these people. So I wanted to know. I personally think that if you got one, and let's say you had like a Brittany and you were chasing, rough grouse, and you had it following on above you, I think you could probably catch stuff with it. I think if you're trying to catch rabbits and squirrels, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think I've heard someone was like catching rails, I think, with them. And like down on the coast, and to be fair, my experience with it was, a long time ago.
Right.
I really probably didn't have any business trying to deal with one when I did. So yeah, but I think you're right. For rabbits and squirrels, it's like, why try to pound that square peg into a round hole?
Yeah. And you have so many other birds at your disposal. You could do Harris hawk, you could do goshawk, Cooper's hawk, red-tailed, whatever. So what's the point?
I guess to just push the envelope and a lot of people like to try to leave their mark and do something extraordinary or whatever. You know what I mean? And some people just get bored too. Like I had the nest in my yard. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm like, I'm about to pull one of these things and see if I could do something with it. And then I just stop myself. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Trust me, I get the appeal of doing something different.
Yeah.
But how different are they really? Like, it's just, they're a beautio, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. No, right.
It's not like you're like doing it with a harrier or an owl or something like that,
Yeah, anything like crazy exotic.
No, I think if you car hawk starlings with it, car hawk pigeons, you'd probably have success.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, this Tirso comes back like twice, 3 times a day with small birds in his feet. And I mean, come on, like, and that's a big bird. I mean, it's not a big bird, like in terms of like its size, but compared to like a Cooper's hawk, it's a decent sized bird catching little birds like that in a regular all day long, so they definitely have it in them. You just gotta, I guess you would be up to the falconer to try to bring it out of them. But enough about this. Let's, Aaron, go ahead.
The Eurasian kestrel. Let's hear about that, because I heard they have a reputation kind of like red shoulders as well. Yeah.
So, man, that was honestly, like looking back on it, that was probably one of my favorite birds. So we got that bird for abatement, and I started entering it on starlings. The bird was very much not gamey. It was interesting though, like if I put a starling in with that bird, like it would turn on and show aggression and whatnot. But if I showed it wild slips, it would just completely ignore these birds. I mean, I was car hawking it. I was tossing it out the window and it would just slop in a tree and, never really make any kind of intentional, purposeful flight toward a starling at all. And I just kept working with it, kept feeding it starlings, doing everything I knew to do, all the normal tricks we do with kestrels and whatnot. And that whole first season, it never took a single head of game. The second season was more the same. And at the very end of its second year, it finally killed a wild starling on a real slip. So I finished the season there with maybe 2 kills. I mean, it was the very, very end of the season. when I got it out for the third season, it was like this bird had been doing it its entire life. I mean, it was just crazy. And then, I mean, I was stacking them, 8, 9, 10 starlings a day. And I mean, this thing was just hammering them. But it took 3 seasons for this bird to ever flip a switch that it was going to be gamey and that it was going to, actually fly after these things. So it actually almost caught a couple in the air. It was more aerial than an American kestrel. Like if the starlings got up, this bird would actually give chase to them. So like it did some little mini stoops on them. It never connected on one in the air, but it did make some attempts. I think if I would have had the bird longer, I think maybe it might would have started. But super cool bird, man. I talked to a lot of people, and I never really found anybody that had any real success. Somebody told me they had flown one in Germany with some success. And I think somebody up in Canada said they had some success, like back in the old days. And outside of that, I mean, I even had people from Europe when I would post it online. People from Europe were messaging me like, is this real? Like, or is this really happening? Like, no one here has ever caught anything with one. So yeah, I mean, it was a fun experience. I wasn't trying to like be groundbreaking. This is just a bird that I ended up with. We had to get a bird for an abatement contract. It was kind of a show and tell kind of bird, really. That contract was, and so this bird just kind of fell in my lap, really, and then and I turned it into a car hawking monster. So yeah, it was fun.
That's super interesting. And now, do you happen to remember the weight of that bird? Because they're a little bit larger than our kestrels, correct?
Yeah, they are. And I'll be honest, man, I don't really remember the weight of that bird. It was a male. But I do not remember. I don't remember the weight. Yeah.
It's not flying at like 85, grams, right?
Oh, no. It was bigger than that. It was one something. I can't remember what it was. But yeah.
That's super neat. What other differences are there? Like, so why do you think American kestrels are relatively easy to get going on game and Eurasian or not?
Man, that's a good question. I don't really know. Look, people ask me stuff like this. You ever seen the movie Tropic Thunder?
Yeah.
Where the guy's talking about the gun and he's like, "Oh, I don't know what it's called. I just know the sound it makes when it takes a life." That's kind of how I am with the Eurasian kestrel, man. Like I have no idea.
Casey's got a hoodie with Robert Downey Jr. from that movie. He's holding up there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely, dude. That's a great movie.
It's such a funny movie.
But man, yeah, I don't know, man. This thing was just like a doorstop for 2 years. I don't know. It just wasn't interested in putting out any effort. And then all of a sudden it was. I really don't know why they're like that. Other than, I don't know. I mean, maybe somebody in Europe knows.
Yeah, if you're out there in Europe, hit us up.
One Eurasian kestrel, man, and it's the one I had. So they're not real easy to find in this country right now. And I mean, I've even kind of looked for another one. But yeah, I don't think the breeding stock is runs very deep over here. So, and the one I had did have a lot of like beak issues. Like his beak was always in really bad shape. And I heard that's pretty common with the captive bred ones that we have.
Inbred?
Yeah, probably so. Yeah. I mean, he did look pretty dumb. He looked kind of a dumb looking face. So maybe that's why it took 3 years. I don't know.
Maybe. But they talk about them like they're just, I mean, they talk about them exactly like they talk about red-shouldered hawks over there, that they're just, they're useless. They eat bugs. But you see in the wild, they just like red shoulders, they take birds.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
I mean, I guess it's just availability, I mean, like if you've got plenty of bugs to eat, why bother?
It's way easier.
Else, so
way easier. All right, so let's just get straight to it with the red-tailed hawks.
All right.
All right. So before we get into it, I just say for myself, I flew red-tailed hawks early on, and then, of course, I got into everything else. Last year, I came back around to red tails, and I got a bird that was flying at 44 ounces. I did grams, but right that 44-ounce window. And dude, I just had the most special relationship with this bird. She was such a good bird. She did it all. She was so personable. She flew with my dog. She was just incredible. Me and Casey went to West Virginia to go bear hunting, and I just brought her because my goshawk wasn't at weight. So I just brought her, and we pull out his goshawk, and of course it just does goshawk things and doesn't want to cooperate because in the goshawk's defense, it had been in a box and long trip and all that crap. The red tail had been in a box and been on a long trip too, but the red tail just didn't care.
No.
She just got right to it, followed the entire group, and just smoked the first squirrel she saw.
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of a red tail.
Dude, I was so in love with that bird. And for those of you out there who listen, at the North Carolina field meet, I had a big group of people with me. Casey was with me. Bear Newcomb from Meat Eater was with us. And we kicked up a rabbit. The rabbit ran for this little random oddball pig pen that was sitting out in the corner of the woods of like 4x4, no climb wire. And the red tail smacked it and was dead. And dude, it just broke my heart, man. Killed me. So all of that, long story short, is I'm back in love with red-tailed hawks.
Hey,
I took them for granted.
Welcome back.
I'm back, dude. I think you're hard pressed to find a better hawk than a red tail.
Yeah, I mean it is the but do it all Toyota of birds. So I mean, you get a lot of mileage out of those things. You can put them in, they can adapt to just about any situation. So,
well, think about if you look at, sorry to cut you off, you look at their range in North America and Central America, dude, they occupy every landscape you can imagine. Desert, mountains, coast, swamp, plains, temperate forests, rainforest, you name it. They're there.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I tell people all the time. I mean, it's, you're never in the wrong place for a red tail. So
now don't get it twisted, guys. I'm still into goshawks. That's not going away. But I'm a red tail appreciator once again.
Well, that's how I am with the goshawks. I'm a goshawk appreciator, but my real love is with red tails. So,
well, on the subject of goshawks, Casey was telling me when we were talking about getting you on how much he wants you to fly goshawk.
a lot of people have told me that.
I just think that with your level of skill, the amount of, your consistency, I mean, you're catching, we're going to get into it later, but I mean, you're catching like 200 squirrels a year. I mean, there's not a lot of people that are doing that, and you're doing it with a red tail consistently. If you got a goshawk, I think you could really do one justice. And I think if you got past the imprinting, the raising, the entering, and you started catching, no, I don't think you should do a chamber raised. Imprint first. You think chamber raised? Aaron thinks chamber raised.
I think if he likes red tails, I think parent reared would be, get a parent reared. I think you'll enjoy the experience more because imprint goshawks are annoying, right?
They are annoying. Yeah. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
but I like it.
Parent reared, they're not annoying.
Yeah, that's one of my problems. Like over all these years, I kind of don't even like birds. It's like I don't want one in the house. I don't want to. I just want to hunt with them.
Yeah,
and so I have kind of grown a little bit where like that. I don't know, the novelty of that and the fun of that is kind of worn off for me. And really it's the hunting is what I enjoy. So, but I definitely like the imprinting process, like doesn't really super appeal to me.
Understandable. I just think that you would have fun.
Oh, I have no doubt I would have fun.
It's just like, I'm just like you. or I was, I wasn't catching 200, but I was in the squirrel woods every day with my red tails. And it's like, you see the bird, big female, comes down, misses a squirrel, lands on the ground. Squirrel makes a break for it across the woods. You're like, oh, get out. And then she's like resetting, folding her wings back, and then laddering back up. It's like the goshawk just smacks the ground and then just like keeps going. It just does everything that you wish it could do. And if you can get past like the behavioral stuff, and really, to be honest with you, in my opinion, once you get past like the first season, it's just a red tail on steroids. That's all a goshawk is. It's just, if you just raise it right, go through the hurdles of the first season, you just pull it out, put game in front of it. It knows what game is and just goes after it. You know what I mean? All the other stuff, you just kind of tweak that as you go, and you got enough skill to do it. I mean, there's no way you couldn't do it. You would definitely do it. I got 4 birds outside. I'll give you one. Jeff, actually, you know what? I'm saying it right now. I'll literally give you one of my made birds if you want.
Oh my goodness,
no, you can borrow. I'm not going to give it to you. You can borrow. I'll loan it to you. You could fly it, have fun with it, catch a whole bunch, and if you say, "All right, this is enough already," then I'll come pick her up. But I think it would be fun. You'd have a blast.
You're going to put me on the spot where I have to fly one.
That is an offer for you that I would do. I'll give you. I'll loan you the bird to fly. They both know it's squirrel. The white one's actually is probably the best. She's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but she's a big puppy. But I think if you flew her, she's like, she's a big dumb albitus. Like, but that was the first season. Apparently they take longer to develop, is what I'm gathering from my conversations and research. But I think this season she's going to be an absolute. And she loves squirrels more than anything else. Rabbits, she chases kind of half-assed. She catches a bunch, but when she sees a squirrel, it's like to the ends of the earth to catch it.
Why do you think that is, Casey?
I think it's because I messed up. I screwed around with the lure machine too much. I made her learn that she doesn't have to chase hard because that stupid lure machine, if she just follows it, she's going to catch it. And I think it just translates right to wild slips where she just follows it and she knows she's going to catch it. And then it took like the whole season with me putting her away hungry. And when she flied like shit, I would just put her away and just feed her at night when I got home to try to like retrain her that if you don't fly with intensity and really try to catch it, then but I didn't do any squirrel lure machine. I didn't pull squirrels in the tree. I just organically, she started catching squirrels. And I think that's why she's so much more like she loves squirrels more, or it just seems like she likes them more because she knows I don't catch one of those things unless I really try to catch one of those things. So open offer, Jeff. You don't have to answer me now or on air.
We may have to revisit this offer.
Okay.
Jeff likes squirrels more too.
How motivated I am.
It's perfect. The bird likes squirrels more. You like squirrels more. Perfect fit. I did all the hard work. You just get a flyer and have fun.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty plug and play.
100% it is. She will fly. How many dogs do we have in the field, Aaron, at the Jersey meet with that stupid bird?
10.
10 dogs, 15 people, 3 rabbits in half an hour. You cannot phase that bird. I don't know what I did. You cannot phase her. She's just does not care.
Well, it was funny. You guys were, and I heard Jackie, Barry, y'all were talking about this too. Like you said, how like a red tail hit the ground and, squirrels running and the red tail's kind of like, behind the curve and whatnot. One thing I've noticed, I guess just the opportunity we have where we fly our birds every day, their fitness level. I just think I see red tails that are way more fit than a lot of people do. Because a lot of our kills are like second and third effort where that bird gets up off the ground and flies the squirrel down. Now, there's a couple of things. Also, sometimes I do pick the bird up and throw it at the squirrel. So, pick it up, just toss it in the air. And,
like a chicken? You pick it up like a chicken and throw it?
Yeah, chicken, throw it in the air, man. And they absolutely fucking hate it. And, but they always they just go right after the squirrel. And then it's funny, man. She'll miss and I'll come running up on her and she'll kind of duck away from me. She knows I'm going to pick her up and throw her. I do. But she immediately goes right at the squirrel, and It's like it never happened.
Yeah, that's the thing about it, and that's the thing about red tails, and like so many people don't realize this. A red tail is a beginner's bird, and it's an ultra advanced bird. You can push it as far as like humanly possible, and like that's what you're saying is like I was just going to the woodlot when I was a kid catching squirrels. Big deal. You're telling me you're catching them on second, third hand, attempts. Your bird's fitness level was probably way above when I was flying red tails. You know what I mean? Even the last one I had a couple of years ago, I didn't really put too much effort into it. So like you can literally that's the thing about a red tail that is like so incredible is you can just do the bare minimum, go out and catch a rabbit, fall out of a tree onto a rabbit, grab a squirrel out, on the trunk or hit it on the ground. Or you can like just push it to your birds like an absolute athlete, just destroying and that's what you're doing, clearly.
Yeah, man. I mean, I agree about 100%. I mean, you really can take it to like whatever level you want. And I think a big thing that I've tapped into in the last few years, especially hunting with dogs. Of course, I see it in their reactions to my body language as well. But red tails are very competitive birds. I mean, they have to be to survive in the wild and be as adaptable as they are. And, they're constantly competing and they're greedy, like we know. And I mean, having the dog on the ground, the bird is constantly competing with the dog. So like everybody always worries about their relationship with the bird, like having this like cooperative, hunting relationship with the bird. But my style is more of a competitive hunting relationship with the bird. So, obviously you can push it too far. Like you want this bird to like not be scared of you and to like know that it's going to win most of the time, at least. So, but if you can tap into that like competitive nature of a red tail, like you'll get so much more out of them. And the dogs really help with that. That's why like I think I see a lot of like second and third effort kills because I mean like the dogs are on it and now the bird's like, oh no, like fuck those dogs. Like I'm catching that. Like that's my squirrel. So I think that's one thing. Even like I don't know if you ever had like well, I know you have, but like when you have these like standoffs with like a squirrel and a bird in the tree, and if you like walk away from the tree and then you charge the tree, like sometimes that'll trigger, this response. I mean, it's 100% competitive. I mean, they recognize like my body language as being predatory and, or the squirrel's on the ground and I'm running. And then, the bird gets up off the ground and passes me and nails the squirrel. I mean, I think it's an aspect that a lot of people are missing is just like tapping into this like competitive nature of the bird because they're worried about the relationship they have with it so much when it's like a red tail like does not give a shit about the relationship.
I never thought about it that way, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So I mean, if you use this right, like time everything right, then I think you can really get a lot more out of a red tail than most people are.
You guys both know this.
Part of that too.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Jeff. Along those same lines, you guys both know this. If you're into it, the bird's into it most of the time.
Yes.
And you think that comes from that competitive?
Absolutely. Man. Big body language. I mean, it's what they do. I mean, it's how they survive. I mean, they definitely recognize that like predatory body language and they recognize that, that competition. So
it's like when I take people out with me and they're not into it, it makes me so fucking mad because I'm like, you guys are screwing me. Like I busted my ass to get slips for your bird. And now you're just being lazy and you're texting and you're chilling and talking in the back of the group and it's me, the dogs and the bird up in the front. It ruins it. Like it absolutely ruins it.
100%. You can go to meets and I don't know how many boring ass red tail hunts I've been on at meets. And it's because the people were, they're boring. They're not doing anything interesting. The bird, they talk about their bird not following them or doing its own thing or whatever. Well, you're not doing anything. Like you're boring. Like, so yeah.
And the bird knows it too. That's why they're like, screw this guy.
Yeah. None of us want to be here, even your bird.
Yeah. I don't even want to be here, and your bird doesn't want to be here either. You suck. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But on that same note, if you're like a newbie falconer with a red tail, I wouldn't try to initiate the competitiveness in your bird just yet. Let's just focus. Let's just catch some
apprentices out there. The apprentices, get in there and snatch that squirrel.
Just instill that competitive behavior. No. Leave that up to Jeff. When you get there after 27 years or something, you could start implementing the competitiveness with your red tail.
Yeah. I would say ease into it for sure.
Yeah. You don't want an angry red tail coming after you. Goshawk, I've had a couple that tried to grab my face. There's nothing more scary than a red tail that wants to hurt you. There really isn't. I don't have any. I'm like a complete biatch. Like you don't like. I'm messing with the bird's feet and it starts like shifting its weight. Like it's gonna. I'm like, oh, like, I'm not. Yeah, the red tail is a scary bird, man. They're monsters.
Yeah, they really are. They can do a lot of damage. I mean, it's a strong bird.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, like I said, there's definitely limits. You need to be able to read the body language. You need to be able to read the situation. To know when to push the bird a little bit, and and whatnot. So yeah, I wouldn't say jump right into that. But
have you ever had a red tail smack you, Jeff?
What's that?
Have you ever had a red tail smack you?
Oh yeah.
No, I'm not talking about just like a little footing. I'm talking about coming out of a tree and smack you.
Yeah, and man, I had a buddy that had a bird. That bird was really bad about it. You know how they are, man. It starts getting close to dark, and and they're they're tired of the bullshit, and wherever you've caught, either you haven't seen any game or you've traded this thing off a couple of times. Or whatever, and it's getting dark, and sometimes you got to kind of keep your head on when you're kind of watching over your shoulder constantly. Well, it's typically the time I call it quits. But and I've had a few that would hit the dog like that at the end of the day, with like nothing else is moving, and they would they would just settle for a dog. So I don't know if they were like taking it out on the dog, or maybe just decided they were going to kill and eat the dog. So
Goshawks are bad about all of that. As it's getting dark, watch out.
Yeah. The zero Goss 30 thing it works both ways, where they're super turned on at that like hour before dark, but then at a certain point that bird's like, I'm eating one way or the other, and that's it. So if my bird comes out of the tree at the end of the day, especially a first year bird, and starts doing all that, I just go, okay, good. You want to act like that? That's fine. And I just pick it up, walk back to the truck, put it in the box, and I feed it like 3 hours later, and it's meal. You know what I mean? But they get like that, man. When they don't, 100%. I see what you're saying. And on that same note, what's the most you've caught in a day?
Oh man, the most we've caught one bird in a day. I believe last year we caught 7.
Oh my God! In
an afternoon with one bird. It was either 7 or 8. I can't remember. It was definitely the most. Man, this bird it just kept killing squirrels, man. We just kept putting it up. We traded off, put it up, and just kept going and going. That's one thing people, I know a lot of people, want to crop them up and reward them and keep this relationship going. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with doing that, especially if that's all you want to do. But if you want to really see what one can do, they're capable of a lot. So, I mean, our birds are in such a routine too, man. I mean, like I said, they're in shape, and we're flying them every day. I mean, you might not be able to do that as easily if you're just a weekend hunter and your birds, in that kind of shape, but like weekend shape. But yeah, these birds, man, we just push them and push them. And I think that competitive aspect plays into that as well. So, the dogs are still hunting. It's still triggering something in the bird, like the bird's still being competitive. So I think that is another another side effect of this, kind of competitive relationship we have, style that we hunt. So, yeah. But before
once you get
that,
them in the routine, they're looking for you when they grab a squirrel.
oh, yeah. Yeah. And I mean, dude, I mean, like a day with the squirrels are moving too, where it's like constant action. Like, I mean, it's hard for them to turn them down.
Have you figured out, I mean, I think you probably catch more squirrels than anybody, to be honest with you. You may know somebody who does more. Have you figured out those days where there's no squirrels, like what's going on with that?
Man, so, yeah. So first of all, like, I want to say, like, me and David, we hunt together all the time. So, he was my apprentice, and he, probably knows about as much about this as I do at this point. But we have not figured out the weather. No, I never know like if squirrels are going to be moving or not. Sometimes I can pretty much tell they're probably not going to be, but there's a lot of tricks for finding them that, that's what we've come up with.
Can you share some of those? Like, I don't really know what to ask, but some hot tips.
Yeah.
If you're having a rough day with squirrels.
It's different regionally. I mean, like I noticed a difference in Alabama, even from Alabama to Tennessee. In Tennessee, I mean, it's always like a lot of like hollow dead trees, anything that you can like really like harass like that. I mean, like I beat the crap out of it with like a pick handle. And man, sometimes we have this one, like we call them stumps. It's just like dead rotten trees. And this thing was probably like 25, 30 feet tall. And we called it the century stump because every time we went by it, we would hit it 100 times. Because sometimes that's how much you had to hit it to get a squirrel to come out of it. So I think a lot of people like aren't flushing aggressively enough. Because I'll hunt people and they'll go by and they'll whack something a couple of times. If it looks really good, like I'll spend some time on it. Squirrels love anything like where there's like one tree that's leaned against another tree. Like if there's a tree that's fallen down against another tree, they love that. It's a really good. It gives them good cover in a lot of like dimensions to hide in and avoid predators. So like anytime there's like one tree leaning on another, I really like focus on that. Anything that's hollow, like really spend some time on it. Now, obviously, like I'm looking for like fresh sign too. Like if there's like fresh leaves sticking out of a hole up there or something, something's built a fresh nest in there or something. So, really cold days. I mean, like our squirrels will, I guess it's called like torpor. It's like a little mini hibernation they do. And so sometimes like if they're in that state, like that's when you have to like hit something like, 80, 90 times, 100 times. And the squirrel will kind of, you can tell too. Sometimes I feel kind of bad. Like they'll launch out of there, but you can tell if they're not like fully up to speed yet. They're still like a little bit like hibernated. And like, they just get hammered. But if they do miss, if the bird does miss, like those squirrels like come around pretty quickly. But you can usually tell it's like a little soft launch out of the hole up there. You're like, yeah, that guy's not fully living yet. But yeah, I mean, we go no matter what. So we've learned just stuff to look for and whatnot. Like I said, those are always like. When it's really tough, like I'll go to the evergreens, like any cedar trees, like squirrels love that when it's really cold and bad weather. They'll get in those nests in those cedar trees because, I mean, they're super warm. They got all those cedar shavings in them, and they'll build the tightest little den out of cedar shavings in those things. I mean, if you've ever pulled one of those nests apart, I mean, like it's amazing how densely packed those nests are. And I mean, you've seen it where the hawks get on the nest. The squirrel's in there, and the hawk just gives up eventually because it like can't even get it out of there. So same thing there. Spend a lot of time like shaking the cedar tree, anything that's got like a good looking nest in it like that. So yeah, so lots of times we'll do that. If the weather's bad, we'll be like, hey, let's go to this property because it's got a lot of cedar trees. So like we know that we're going to be having to run them out. So, because here in Tennessee is like a lot of big open hardwoods and there's no vines. So if squirrels are not moving in the hardwoods, like you're not going to move them unless you like run them out of something hollow. Whereas like in Alabama, like every tree has a vine on it. So like all these vines go up to nest and stuff.
It
and
helps so much.
Yeah, but here we just don't have that. So yeah, it's a different kind of hunting.
Casey?
No, that's just super. Yeah, it's super fascinating how it's it's so different from one state to the other. And yeah, so like when you're in an area that's got a lot of vines and there's nests attached to like every vine, it's almost like cheating kind of, because I just got to keep pulling these till a squirrel makes a break for it, and then the hunt is on. But if you're in hardwoods and they're not out that day for whatever reason, it's like you're hunting on hard mode. It's like, oh man, this is rough.
It's tough. And we know these properties that we hunt year after year after year. So like, I know whoever's like hollow stumps, and I know whoever's, we'll plan our route. We'll like, hey, let's go up here and we'll hit that stump, and then we'll work around here and hit that stump or whatever. And, because we know we're going to have to just like beat them out of something. So
we call those doorbells the vine going up to the. Are you a slingshot guy?
Oh, I'm a slingshot guy, a big slingshot guy. I was going to tell you, this is kind of it's kind of, I don't know. This is like a little, but there's squirrels that hide out in these like hollow trees and stuff. I call them Anne Frank squirrels. So they're like hiding in the attic. So I'm like, oh man, get this Anne Frank squirrel out of here! Like beat this hollow tree until one jumps out of the attic. So.
We know you're hiding in there.
Yeah. Your papers.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's when you it's hard.
So yeah.
So what's your preferred slingshot?
Oh man, that's just a cheap like Daisy slingshot, man.
Okay. You're not into any of the little fancy ones with the, what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. And I see people using them, but man, I just like the way that cheap Daisy slingshot feels. And sometimes I'll, put an aftermarket band on it. I'm gonna soup it up a little bit.
I want to shout out my buddy Matt Starnes. He's the best with the slingshot of anyone I've ever seen. He can do whatever. He could shoot every squirrel in the tree if he wants with the slingshot.
Man, David's pretty good, and like our problem is like slingshot ammo. It's just expensive.
What do you use?
Now, Dollar General used to sell the marbles for like $1 a bag, and then they stopped carrying them. So
he prefers the steel shot.
That's what I'm using now. I'm using steel shot. So yeah, it's just a little more expensive than $1 bag.
What do you mean by steel shot? Like what diameter is it? You're putting like multiple pellets in there, or you're just doing one at a time?
Oh no, I like the bigger, like the half inch like ball bearings. So I just get them on like eBay or Amazon or whatever. So I tried that. There was something popped up on Facebook Marketplace. It was like a 55-gallon drum full of marbles. And dude, somebody beat me to it, but I was.
I've never. Another squirrel hawker, probably. I've never used a slingshot hawking squirrels. I just decide to blow my shoulder out by throwing sticks at every.
You're good, dude. Nest. You got a good aim with a stick. I'll give you that.
Bro, I've been doing it. I never use a slingshot. So when I just gather a bunch of sticks and I'll just launch them up there.
Yeah.
As long as it takes.
If the squirrel's down pretty low, like, how they like will work like a low fork and just like demoralize your bird. Like if they're doing something like that, like I'll throw sticks too. Cause like, you can usually get them to swing around the tree or move or something. And, if it's at a height that I can throw a stick, but the slingshot's nice. I mean, our birds too are so like habituated to it. I mean, it's like if I go to a tree and I shoot like a nest with a slingshot, my bird's like, oh yeah, I'm going straight to that. Like I'm going to go check that out. So
almost like the Harris hawkers with the laser pointers. Like once you start hitting a nest, your bird's like, oh, I'm going to go attack that nest right now.
100%. Like our birds are so, flown every day, hearing the game call and whatever. They trust the game call so well. Like, like a bird can, we could lose a squirrel in a nest or something. If we wanted to go swap birds, like I could go get another bird and take it straight to that tree and just hit the tree and game call, and the bird will go up until it gets to the nest. Like we do that all the time.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think because I've gone hawking with people where I start throwing sticks, and some people get weird about it. Have you noticed that?
No, I guess I haven't hawked with anybody that's done that.
He's not hawking with pussies.
Yeah,
dude. I start throwing sticks, and they're like, "Be careful! Watch out!"
Who are these little schoolboy bitches?
Like especially if you're hawking with somebody else and you start launching sticks up there, they're like, "Watch! Be careful! Watch out!
Don't hit my bird!
Don't hit my bird, man!" Yeah, I'm dead serious. They start looking at you weird, like they're like something's wrong with you. I'm like, well, how else are you going to get it to move? You don't have a slingshot. What are you going to do?
Their bird just starts following you once. He
flies into my box at my truck at the meet. It's like, screw this guy. This guy sucks. I'm going with this guy.
Yeah, dude, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, man. People who are not willing to work hard for their bird.
Yeah,
shit's whack, dude.
I think a large majority of the population that is interested in falconry are interested in it, but then there's like a very small percent that is willing to put in the work of beating briars, pulling vines, smacking trees, and like that's when the sport becomes like real. Like you have to work for slips. Like we don't live out west, we're not in tennis shoes and shorts. You have to freaking work your butt off unless you got dogs. You know what I mean?
I think it's just a massive, misunderstanding of fieldcraft. I mean, they just don't know. I mean, like how many people would think to hit like a hollow tree, 100 times? You wouldn't think something would still be in there after you hit it 5 or 6 times. But I just think it's a lot of just people maybe they found falconry, as their first form of hunting too. And it's their first, experience with going out and pursuing any kind of game. So they just don't really know. So all they've ever done is just, kind of hike or something. And they don't really know, that much about the, what it takes to flush something. So.
Well, you got to figure it out, dude. So on the squirrels are controversial. You know that, right? You aware of that? You're a very controversial guy for hunting squirrels.
Yeah. Your bird's going to lose a toe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, people are out of their minds, man. Like to say that hawk and squirrel, I mean, whatever. We've talked about it. I'm not going to go down that again.
That's just leading me into the question. It's inevitable all right. So I was telling you earlier, my red-tailed hawk, it was never bit by a squirrel, but it died chasing a rabbit.
Yeah.
And Casey said a long time ago, he thinks rabbit hawking is as dangerous as it gets.
It's a fact. Your bird is more likely to die chasing rabbits than any other quarry.
It is a fact. I mean, the places you go to hunt rabbits are just sketchier all the time. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff around and power poles and transformers. Like I've never had a bird electrocuted ever. 20-something years. I've never had that happen. It's just not likely on the places I hunt, for hunting squirrels. The only death that I've had was I did have a bird hit a fence that was running through the woods, very similar to Aaron's story. But that's 20-something years of flying red tails. It's the only one like that. I mean, other than that, the worst injuries is like, it may lose a toe, but it's not a dead bird. So, I mean, everybody else I know, I mean, hit by cars and electrocuted and, fly in the windows, fly on fences, and just, all the stuff. So even like breaking like rabbits, like grabbing rabbits and like weird stuff, like in between roots and whatnot, like breaking legs that way. Like I mean, rabbit hunting is is definitely to me just as sketchier. But
oh yeah, I mean, I saw one just quick story. As my North American her first season grabbed a rabbit right out in the open, grabbed it right by its ass, and it literally you saw it. It grabbed the rabbit by the ass, and then the rabbit was right next to a little sapling, like 3 feet high, but with like a nice little trunk on it. And it literally went around the sapling and then tried to break the bird's leg, pulling the bird, and the bird's like twisting around the sapling, and she ended up letting it go.
Yep.
They're slick, man. You're more likely to get an injury for sure. Now I have a question on that same line of questioning Aaron was on. Have you, because your bird sounds like you have a couple birds that you fly, and so I think from what I've heard that you have one main bird and then you'll bring in like a new passage every couple of years and do it that way. How often are you seeing your red tails regrip when catching squirrels?
Oh, I mean, every time. I mean, like, yeah, constantly. You know, the thing with red tail is, I mean, they don't care if they get bit. I mean, honestly, they're always trying to get control, but I mean, they're almost never going to, like, you know, be able to grab something by the head, like initially. Like, it's not the first part of the squirrel they're coming to. The squirrel's running away from them. So, like, they're going to be catching it by the back leg, by the tail, by the hind quarter, like whatever. And then, you know, constantly, you know, regripping and gripping until it has control. The red tail just cares about control. They don't care if they get bit in the process. When they feel like they have control, they're just holding what they got. Because I hear, like, I mean, it's a lot of people are like, oh, you know, like a bird will get bit. It'll lose a squirrel. And they say, oh, well, no, you got bit and you let go. Like, no, it's not what happened. Like, he just didn't have control and he got bit. And he lost it while trying to, like, re-grip. He didn't, like, let it go because he got bit. I mean, the bite's already happened. So, like, what's the benefit of letting go? If you look at it from, like, a survival standpoint.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like, the damage is already done and now you also don't have food. Like, what, you know, like, what's the point?
That makes a lot of sense.
But yeah, I mean, they just, you know, they don't care. I mean,
yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I've definitely noticed that where they.
Oh, I don't think they even, like, I don't know if they even grasp the concept of getting bit, honestly. Like,
right. No, it's true. It's true. It's true. And it's some of them, like, especially a first year bird that's just like, they don't really know yet. They'll just grab it and you're running up on them and you're just watching the squirrel just go to town on the feet while you're running in there. You know, and they're just locked on like a pit bull, just holding it.
Their feet are built for that, though, with the big, heavy scales and big, you know, thick bones.
They definitely handle it better than any other bird. That's for sure. Yeah. I mean, we get tons of bites. I mean, the reality is, I mean, over the years, from what I can tell, I mean, you're looking at anywhere, typically, like, the average is probably 20 to 25% of the time. So usually every 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5 squirrels, like, they're getting bit. You know, it may not be bad, you know, but they're gonna have some kind of bite on them somewhere. Every now and then you get lucky and you hit some kind of run, you know, and you think, like, you talk yourself into thinking the bird has, like, learned something, but it hasn't. It's just circumstances. You know, sometimes I'll go like 10, 11, 12 squirrels and there's no bite. And I'm like, man, is this bird, like, has something clicked? Has it learned after, you know, 500 squirrels? Has it finally learned? And of course it hasn't. It just, you know, then it gets bitten the next 6 squirrels in a row, you know. It's like, oh.
Yeah. What are you doing? Are you doing chaps? Are you doing, like, what do you have for disinfectant? Are you spraying your bird, spraying the bite out at the end of the hunt? What's your, you know, for that kind of stuff?
Yeah, man, mostly just trying to clean it. So I don't run any chaps. I don't run jesses or anything. Jesses really get in the way. We're talking about, like, regripping a bird, regripping and being able to use its feet and move its feet. I mean, anybody who's held a bird on the glove with jesses knows that they'll stand on their own jess even when they're shuffling around on your glove and they can't get their feet like they want them. So, like, if, you know, this hawk reaches out and grabs a squirrel and its jess flies forward and this other foot lands on the jess and the squirrel, and now it's kind of handcuffed itself to the squirrel in this position. The squirrel can turn and bite. So jesses are probably the number one worst thing as far as gear goes for hawk and squirrels. I don't have anything against chaps other than the fact that most of them are held on by jesses. So like if you're going to like put a chap on a bird, like use a cable tie or something through those grommets, and don't use a jest to hold them on.
Last year, I used the Ashley Clark ones, and I liked them. I don't fly with jesses either. I was not taught to do it that way.
Yeah. I think that's one thing. A lot of people say, oh, chaps cause bite. I don't think the chaps really cause bites. Like I said, I think it's the jesses. You know, I don't know. But chaps are inevitably, they're going to stop some bite. I mean, it's more stuff there. Like, obviously, like at some point, it's going to stop a bite.
Yeah, I 100% ran up and saw at least one time the squirrel has a one of the fringes in its mouth biting it.
Yeah,
and it would have had its toe, or it would have had its foot or its toe otherwise.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you give it something else to bite, like you know how they are, they bite down and they usually stay in that one spot. They don't do a lot of like chewing. So unless they get forced to like get repositioned. But yeah, so I've also seen that too, though, some of the like really big flares, people are like, oh, it was biting the flare and not the foot. But it's because like, well, it's because the flare was the only thing it could even reach. Like it wouldn't even be able to reach the foot if the flare wasn't. So it's like yeah, like it's biting the flare. It doesn't necessarily save it from biting the foot. I don't think it could have reached the foot. But yeah, I'm not really super passionate either way about chaps. But it's the jesses that are a real issue. So I just stay away from those. And for me, I just run kind of a wide anklet, and I just go with that.
They grab out a fair amount too.
What was that?
The squirrels, they end up biting the anklet quite a bit as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the scariest bites are like body bites and like face bites. You want to talk about like red tails, like not giving a shit. Like my bird has gotten now, like this one of the ones that flew this year, she's like, it's like her 4th season. And she's grabbing them with her beak, like before she can even get control of them with her feet. Like she's putting her face down there, man. She was getting bitten in the face. You know, she got bit completely through the lower mandible one time. I mean, like a hole all the way through. Yeah. So we've had some beak issues, like the beaks get bitten. And of course, like that eyebrow is a common spot that they get bitten also.
Dude, I ran up on my bird one time when I was young, and I literally get there and my red tail's on its back, has a squirrel by the back leg, and the squirrel is on top of my red tail, has it by the eyebrow, and it's like it's growling. You know how you know when you always know your bird's getting bit when you run up and that the squirrel is growling.
Yeah.
But if they're squeaking, they're in panic mode. You ever notice that? Yep. When they're doing that little satanic growl, you know your bird's getting bit or something's happening. Yeah. You know?
There's an ass going on at that point. Yeah.
Forget squirrels, man.
Dude, I'll tell you something, man. I had something crazy. I've actually got pictures of it. So my bird footed itself in the face and pierced its own like through the lower jaw. So its talon was coming up from under the lower jaw into the hawk's mouth. So I mean, the hawk is like footing its own face to like that. It's fighting with the squirrel. I think the squirrel was up on the hawk's head, like biting it or whatever. She didn't have good control of it. She footed for it and ended up just footing her own face and then just holding on. Like, you know how they are. They're just like zoned out, if they're in that, like they're panicking too. You can tell when your bird's panicking.
Yeah.
Like trying to get control of something. And that squirrel's like rolled underneath it or whatever. Like, that bird was in pure panic mode.
Yeah, it's common to see, like, even in goshawks, they'll try to double grip, like, on the head, and they'll foot their own foot, and they're like, one foot is on the squirrel or rabbit, and the other foot's, like, footing themselves. It's crazy.
Yep.
And they just hold on,
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that quite a bit. They foot their own leg or something like that, have themselves in some weird way. So, yeah.
So what's your bite protocol when you get home and treat the bite? What do you do?
Yeah, so man, honestly, I just take soap and water and a toothbrush, and I just scrub it really, really good, and just clean it really good. That usually is enough. Sometimes I'll put a little something on it, some of that, like, silver honey or whatever on it, and whatnot. Yeah, and then I'm back hunting the next day. I just generally, when I get home at night, like my procedure usually is just to scrub their feet with soapy water and a toothbrush. Sometimes even if I don't see a bite, I'll still do that just because, just trying to keep it clean for, when they do get a bite or whatnot, nothing gets pushed down in there, whatnot. So that's usually enough. I keep antibiotics on hand. As much as we fly, we need to have them. If there's kind of a gnarly bite, I'll usually just go ahead and put a bird on antibiotics, just preventative right from the get-go. I would say probably 3 or 4 times a season, like, my bird is on antibiotics. I keep flying. I just fly through it, but I fly through just about anything. I'm a big advocate of just flying them, even if they are a little injured. Sitting in the mew does not promote a lot of blood flow to an injury and whatnot. So, like, getting them out exercising and hunting does. And so that actually, I see them heal a little better when I'm doing that, over than just sitting in the mew and not having blood flow. So,
even through a broken talon.
What's that?
Broken talons.
Yeah, and broken talons. I just, I've done all the same stuff everybody else does, epoxy them, or
dude. I'm going to share a pro tip that I did not come up with. Casey took heat shrink tubing and put it on the bone and shrunk it, and dude, it worked like a charm.
It's smart.
Yeah, and that's the heat too.
That's a great idea. I got another pro tip, which was shared to me by a long winger, Dave Leapy. Leapy, you know Dave Leapy? You know him?
I've met him, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He turned me on. I got a bite like years ago, and he's like, you gotta use. He lives in Jersey, but he sounds like he's from down south. He's like, you ever heard of this stuff? EMT? It works real good. It's like this horse stuff, and you clean the bite out, like you said, and then it's like a ointment, and you smush it on there and rub it into the cut. And if your bird will leave it alone, it like turns like rock hard and has all this like healing property stuff in it. And it will turn rock hard and create like this little shell over the bite that protects it and promotes healing. It's great stuff. Really good stuff. Yeah, I keep that stuff in my bag. I try to keep it in my bag, or at least my truck.
I will say this one thing with red tails. This is the good thing about them. I don't see a lot of talon injuries. It's not, y'all know how, like Harris hawks are notorious for it, like unsheathing a talon and whatnot. And I don't know if goshawks are bad about it. I feel like anything that just has like those smaller toes and those are a little more fragile with the talons like that. But I haven't really seen a lot of that. The worst thing, more like a squirrel biting a talon, with a red tail and breaking it. Like, I've seen that, but I haven't really seen a lot of like unsheathing of talons or whatnot with red tails. So, but obviously, I see it all the time with Harris hawks. It's like a super common thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know why. I've definitely seen with red tails firsthand them crushing a talon.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen a red tail unsheath its talon.
I haven't unsheathed one like that. Yeah, I've seen the broken ones just from like I said, maybe a squirrel biting it or something like that. But it's just not as commonplace as like with a Harris hawk or something. So, and I'm not sure about goshawks. I imagine, a squirrel, y'all know a squirrel's a super tough animal. It's super tough skin. And, they can really twist and turn and put a lot of torque on a bird's foot. So I imagine that's one reason red tails are good at it. They have, a big, strong bird, big, strong feet. So,
yeah, it's true.
Jeff, what's the worst injury you've gotten squirrel hawking?
Oh, me? Oh, man. Okay, a lot of people know about this. I was trying bird. I had a new bird out. It was our first hunt, and I'm chasing a squirrel, and I'm super excited. I'm like, man, we're gonna catch this squirrel, like whatever. Bird's working great. We're running this thing and it runs into a cedar tree. And I'm like, I'm frantically just like shaking the shit out of a cedar tree, just trying to throw the squirrel off and, create an opportunity for the bird. And I'm looking up and I'm screaming. And this little, like, tiny piece of cedar bark, like, goes down my throat and starts choking me. So now I'm like on the ground and I'm choking. I get this. So finally, like, I choke this thing up into like this weird position in my throat where now it is like gagging. It's like just constant gagging. The most uncomfortable like thing ever. I just like can't. So finally, I get like my head turned in this odd position where but like if I move even just the wrong way, it's like terrible, like heaving and gagging. So now I'm like, I don't know where the fuck the bird is, squirrel is. I'm laying on the ground, like almost died. So I just like pull the lure out of my vest and like I'm kind of wiggling it around the ground, trying not to move my head. And the bird comes in, like hits the lure. I just like grab him, like no finesse, nothing, dude. I just like grab this fucking thing by the leg. It was a brand new bird. Just grab him by the legs, like shove the hood on him. And I'm getting out of the woods, and so like I'm trying to call my wife at the time, and I'm like, hey, like, and I'm talking all raspy and shit. And I just wanted her to know, like, I'm going to the emergency room. And so, if you don't, like, I got to make it out of the woods first, though. So, dude, I get to the emergency room, and I'm trying to like tell these people in the emergency room, like, what happened. And dude, it's hard to talk. Like, I'm gagging and shit, and like I'm trying to tell them, and they are convinced that I have a fish bone in my throat. And I'm like, motherfuckers, I haven't been eating fish. Like, I know what happened. Like, I don't understand. Like, I was looking in the tree, unless there was a fucking fish bone in a cedar tree. Like, this is not a fish bone. So, man, they ended up having to like put me under and do surgery to remove this fucking thing out of my throat. It's like splinter that was like embedded down in there. So they like put me completely under. They go in with like the scope and the little fucking robot thing or whatever, and like go in there and like get this thing out. And that is definitely the worst medical experience I've had squirrel hawking. So pretty rough. And I tell you what, man, like the next day or the next couple of days, like I could not even move. I pulled like every muscle in my abdomen from like gagging and stuff. Like it was terrible. I think that was even worse. Like the next couple of days were the worst because like I could not even move. It was excruciating. So yeah,
that is the craziest hawking injury I've ever heard.
Yeah. And I've still got that. I've got that piece of cedar tree like floating in its little liquid that they put it in. They put it in like a little vial for me. So I'm like,
you gotta send us a picture of that, dude.
Yes, please send us a picture. That's insane.
Dude, there's a picture of me like coming out from under like anesthesia, like holding that vial, and I like look super fucked up, like drunk and shit. It's funny.
So now I will say this. Your bird is more likely to die chasing squirrels, but you're more likely to get injured your bird is more likely to die chasing rabbits, but you are more likely to get hurt chasing squirrels. Because I've literally almost lost an eye. I mean, I've gotten...
Yeah. Dude, shit. Out the trees.
Yes. Like, dude, my buddy got knocked out unconscious. He was like completely out, like on the ground for he doesn't even know how long. There's a big limb, and he's pulling vines like this. It just came down and smashed him, and he's just laying on the ground, like out cold.
Dude, it's so sketchy. And it's one good thing about like hunting somebody. Like me and David have a good system now where like one of us is watching out for like falling shit, you know? So, but you still don't know where he's like, oh, look out. You don't know what to do. So of course you just like cower down and hope it doesn't hit you.
Yeah, but looking up while you're pulling vines to see what's going on is like the worst thing you could do. Yeah.
Well, Jeff wears glasses, so that's smart.
You wear glasses, Jeff?
It's a necessity, obviously.
But I like wear glasses anyway.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a necessity for Jeff, but it's convenient too.
Yeah,
I can't bring myself to wear safety glasses the same way.
Dude, I would have a tough time doing it, honestly. It'd be a hard habit. I don't even wear my fucking seatbelt,
Yeah,
dude.
same.
I want to go hunting.
I think, Theo, I tried to say this joke on the podcast once before, but I butchered it. but it's like same thing with like wearing bicycle helmets while you're riding your bike. And like, and Theo Von's like, man, if I ever caught my dad wearing a helmet, he's like, I would much rather my dad becomes mentally disabled from falling off his bike than to see my dad riding wearing a bicycle helmet. Like, I can't put the glasses on. Like, I know, going through Phragmites and they'll stab you right in your eyeball. Like, I would much rather not wear glasses. Like, but I should wear glasses.
Jeff,
that's like vaping. Like, I can't respect vaping. Like, if you like smoke cigarettes to get cancer, I can like respect that.
Like you smoke for 20 years. Like, I have more respect for you dying in the hospital than you puffing on that weird vape thing, doing like techno thing and blowing
strawberry cheesecake bullshit. Like, you're the one that deserves cancer, not the guy that's smoking the cigarette.
Not the guy with the mustache. Not the guy with the mustache at the bowling alley. He's hardcore, bro. Like, he should live.
The smoking man from the X-Files. Anybody remember him?
No, I don't remember that.
No. Okay. Anyway, Jeff, so speaking of Theo Von, one time a long time ago, and I really honestly don't know this, somebody sent me a reel and Theo Von was talking about going out with some falconers, and I think it was in Nashville. And I suspect it was you.
It was. So it was like to my buddy David Hudson, who we're kind of we joke about it, like we have these birds, kind of like the Matu dads of these birds. Like, we just like fly each other's bird. It's kind of like our birds. So that was set up for him. He has a buddy that like works for Theo somehow, and I didn't even know who he was at the time. Like, I just didn't really keep up with shit, And I was like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, I haven't really heard of him. And like, he shows up, and like the first thing is he makes like tell some story about being at a party with like a bunch of underage girls or something. I'm like, oh my God, like what? This guy's fucking, this guy's crazy. So, but he's really like that in real life. I mean, he's just, I don't know. I mean, he was just like he is on the podcast, just out in the woods hunting. But it was funny. My dog like went down in a hole and like drug a possum out and just like shook it, killed it. And, they were filming everything. And I was like, oh God, like, here we go. And my dog went down there and just like massacred his possum. So I'm like trying to get the possum away from the dog, and I'm like trying to put it back down in a hole. Like, oh no, it'd be fine. It's like completely fucked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was quite an experience. Like I said, it was funny because like I didn't even know who he was.
Oh, that's crazy. They didn't know who he was. It's just like,
yeah. And now I don't know. Obviously, he's like everywhere now. But he acted just like that, man. I mean, like out in the woods, he was just saying the same, like insane, just coming up with like the craziest shit. It's like, man, how does your brain work, man? It's like so fucking weird.
That monologue that he did is like, will never, like, as a falconer, that is the funniest monologue ever. Like, everybody was sending it to me. I was sending it to everybody I knew. It was so funny. You watched it, right, Jeff? I'm assuming you watched it.
Oh yeah.
He's like, usually when you show up to a church parking lot and somebody says they got a bunch of birds in their van, it's not usually some birds. It's so funny, man. It was so funny.
Did you also take Jelly Roll out too?
No, I did not. So David works. He does like education stuff. So he, I think he had like an educational experience. I think like Jelly Roll did like attended one of his like educational programs or something. But we've not taken him out hunting. So
I have a hard time imagining him getting around in the woods.
I never know who David's going to show up with. He's like, oh yeah, I got some people coming today, and yeah.
What other celebs have you taken hawking?
Oh man, it was some. You know what?
Got to be some country singers, right?
I don't know that we've really taken any country singers that I can think of. I don't really know a lot. I don't really get into like celebrities, so like a lot of times I don't really know. We took another comedian. I can't remember his name. If I saw him, I'd recognize him. I know he's been on like Joe Rogan show and stuff, and hangs out with that crowd a little bit. He wasn't as cool as Theo though, but yeah. Oh man, I took a I took a guy that played Tarzan once in 1984. Does that count as a
celeb? Yeah.
With the little midget people, that was that the same movie back then with the midget people that were getting stomped on by the elephants?
Yeah.
And it looks super real. You ever saw that movie?
It sounds right.
I was like a little kid. They had like these pygmy like people, and like the elephants were like stomping on them and killing them.
He's calling them everything you're not supposed to call them. He's like,
it's literally it's a
pygmy people. No L.
Look it up. It's like they're like a tribe of pygmies, and like Tarzan was friends with them in this super old school movie my dad made me watch. He's like, you gotta watch this. It's a good movie. And it's like super graphic, like when they had no regulations on like abusing animals in movies. It was super like very graphic. But you went skydiving with what's his name? The jackass guy?
Oh yeah, Steve-O, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Cool. That guy's a maniac, man. Dude, he's a hard worker, dude. He was all about it. He just kept busting his ass like landing. I mean, just kept eating shit. It just kept like getting up and going again. Man, that dude, I'm pretty sure he like broke his thumb or something on one of his landings. But he didn't want to tell us because he was worried we weren't going to let him jump anymore. So,
do you think he was doing it on purpose because they were filming him probably when he was landing?
No, he definitely was not crashing on landing on purpose. That was very natural.
Oh my god,
he was just eating shit. So he was having trouble learning how to land a parachute softly.
And what's he like? He's just like what do you see is what you get kind of thing.
Yeah. He's super cool. He's definitely all about like, the footage. He loves the attention. And I think he's really just a big attention whore, he loves it. But he's a nice dude, man. I mean, he's very genuine. He was a hard worker. He was really, really professional and stuff out here, trying to learn to jump. So yeah. And he gave one of my friends a tattoo. So that was kind of fun.
Steve-O gave one of your friends a tattoo?
Yeah. So he had his like tattoo stuff with him, and we sat over here in the airplane hangar, and he tattooed a parachute on my friend's arm. So
that's kind of
dang. That is pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's pretty.
Although I don't like him very much just because of that one tattoo he had that he got covered up. It's like super whatever. We don't have to get into it. Yeah. He's a crazy individual, that guy.
Yeah, he's pretty wild, but he's pretty I don't know. He's got his own thing going, his own agenda. So the whole thing is he was training for like this like tour that he's doing. He's doing all these stunts, and one of them was like a skydiving stunt that he was trying to do. So we were trying to get him ready for that, just get him where he didn't kill himself doing this stunt. So
all right.
Yeah.
Jeff, I'd be remiss if I didn't go back to something you've touched on here and there. Dogs.
Yeah.
All right. So what type of dogs do you run?
Man, I mean, we're running Decker Terriers mostly. I also have like a little, just a little mutt from the pound that's like some kind of terrier mix. And we've kind of thrown him in like recently. So he was kind of a product of my divorce. It was like my wife's little dog. It was kind of like a companion dog for my Decker. And I always thought he was just kind of a pussy. And but like I maintained custody of this dog when we separated. So finally I was just like, man, I'm just like sick of having I was going to a meet and I was like, I don't want to have somebody watch this dog. I'm just going to take it with me. So me and David just threw it out in the woods and just let's see what happens. And like the bird like immediately nails it and just it's like, and this dog was like scared to cross creeks. Like it was scared of everything. But now that dog is like a maniac, man. I mean, like gamey, like loves it. He's just he's a huge source of entertainment for us out there. So yeah, basically, so I'm running this mutt and 2 Deckers. David's got a Decker and I've got one. So
what exactly is a Decker Terrier? Because I've heard a few different, for those of you out there who are not familiar with the breed, because they're not an AKC thing, I don't think, are they?
No, it's a rat terrier. It's a jumbo size rat terrier. I think I know like fox terrier was used. It was basically a mix of terriers, and they did mix a Basenji into that line as well. So like mine like has a lot of Basenji traits. Like she doesn't bark on game. Like she doesn't bark in the woods at all.
That's nice.
She'll give like a crazy like kind of yelp. Kind of like a yelp if she gets on a rabbit. She loves rabbits, dude. My dog is insane about rabbits, and she goes to ground like crazy. Like she loves that. She loses like if there's a squirrel in a tree, if it's moving and the hawk's chasing it, she's interested. Otherwise, she's not really that interested. The other Decker is more. David's Decker is more of a squirrel dog. It's definitely more interested in squirrels. It'll tree. He'll run off. He'll be out in front of us somewhere. We'll hear him barking, and he'll have, he'll tree one. But my Decker is very quiet and likes to go in the brush and underground looking for rabbits mostly. So they actually make kind of a good combo. So kind of got like a little rabbit dog and a squirrel dog.
The Basenjis are African, like they're primitive African hunting dog, right?
They are. Yes, they are. I actually thought about just trying to use pure Basenjis at some point, but I don't know. I may explore that down the road, but right now the Deckers are pretty good old dog. I mean, all I want. I don't really need a dog to find squirrels. I mean,
it helps.
They help. I need a dog to keep a squirrel in play. I need a dog to like distract the squirrel, And yes, and sometimes find a squirrel, especially like let me know where one went when we miss it and lose it. So, I mean, they definitely, my God, man. A lot of our kills are because of dogs, not from the dogs catching it, just from the dogs playing like a vital role in keeping up with the squirrel on the ground or cutting it. Like my dog really loves to just cut them. Like she knows the hawk is coming. So she's a little timid about grabbing them and holding on to them because she knows she's going to get hit in the face like if she does. So she'll like kind of chomp and let go or like just cut them like back and forth. And she's super fast. And David's dog is like he'll grab one up and just run off with it. He takes a different approach. He knows the hawk is coming also, but his idea is he's going to outrun it. So but he's kind of more like a bull in a china shop, dude. That dog's he can't turn. Like his neck is so thick. We joke about him all the time. He just runs in a straight line, dude. Right. He just has to like run into the squirrel. So, but yeah,
that's become a very popular falconry squirrel dog, Decker.
Yeah. I don't really know how it took off. Like the first one I saw was like years and years ago at a NAFA meet. Chris Starr had his dog out there, and I just really liked the look of it and the demeanor of his dog. And I was like, oh yeah, that's what I'll get. I didn't really have any it wasn't really like a purpose behind it. Like, oh, these dogs have a great nose, or these dogs do this or that. Because they don't have a great nose at all. They're very much sight hunters. So yeah. And I just got lucky with mine that she like really likes to go to ground and really likes to get in thick brush and hunt rabbits. So
did Madison get hers from you?
No, not. She came from the same breeder as David's dog. I think hers came from Dixie Deckers. I believe. I may be wrong, but I believe that's where hers came from. But I actually kind of like Vaughn hunts rabbits, man. Honestly, like it's much shit I talk about hunting rabbits, but like I said, I don't really need help finding the squirrels, but I definitely would need help finding rabbits. So it's like kind of like a bonus, especially on a day that squirrels are hard to find. I'm like, well, the dog will probably kick up a rabbit, so it's like a nice little bonus.
How many random little wood rabbits do you run into? Like we call them incidental rabbits.
Yeah, we usually probably catch like 8 or 10 a year, just like randomly in the woods.
They're so easy to catch too when you find them out in the woods.
Dude, they're great flight. It's kind of fun. Like in the open hardwoods, man, you can see the whole thing. Like it's it's fun for like a rabbit flight. Like it's awesome, man, because you can see it. That's usually my gripe of like hunting rabbits is I can't see shit. Like I may see a wing over and that's cool, but I may not even see that.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's rabbit hawking's tough work, and yeah, you barely see anything. And if you don't have dogs, and even if you have dogs, and you're freaking upside down in a briar patch while the flight's going on, with your legs in the air because you just tripped, and it's just But you don't have any interest in hawking rabbits, and you were telling me like years ago that you just don't really have like fields like that where you're at necessarily.
Yeah, I mean it's really hard to go out and just get consistent rabbit slips. I mean, and like part of that is like kind of what you're saying, like the stuff I would have to get in and can like is just not it's not desirable at all. Like I don't want to be in it.
Yeah, it's like greenbrier up to past your head, and it's just a wall, and you either need 4 dogs to work it, or you're just going to kill yourself to go through it.
Yeah, I mean,
just one wing over.
Like old, 3-4 year old clear cuts. It's like you can't walk through there, man. I mean, it's just like down trees and briars and
It's rabbit hawking. Yeah, and I mean by me, it's just like that, like you said, like it's just thick. It's not fun. But every now and then you'll find a spot that you get some nice open slips and you can see the whole thing happen. And there's nothing better than scooping up a rabbit from the fist with a goshawk, in my opinion. I mean, that's just so fun. But that's like 5% of my flights, you can see it from the glove, it's like very rare that happens.
Yeah, that's like going out west and hunting rabbits or something, it's like, it's a whole different experience. It's fun. I actually saw the rabbit. So yeah.
Jeff, are you a member of any organizations?
You
talking about going out west reminded me like Napa Meets.
Are we talking about falconry organizations? Or
yeah, specifically, not AA or anything like that.
I guess my state club. I'm a member of NAFA on and off.
You like that? You like the magazine you get a few times a year from them?
Yeah, well, I haven't gotten it in a while because I haven't been a member in a while. But yeah, I don't have anything against it. I'm just lazy. I have so many permits and freaking licenses and shit that I've got to maintain. Like stuff like that just flies right under the radar for me and just really like falls off the priority. So I'm really bad about like just renewing stuff. So
they do a great job of reminding me.
Yeah. Well, they'd called me a few times a few years back and whatnot, but I think they kind of gave up.
What? Calling you for what? To rejoin?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Casey, you ever get called by NAFA?
No, but they love to weigh in on our conversations on the podcast and then refuse to come on the show to discuss anything. So I don't know. It is what I don't have anything against them either, but if you have a strong opinion about what we're discussing, come on the show and we'll talk about it. And if you don't want to come on the show, then what are you actually doing? You know what I mean? Like, what are you actually doing? If you want to weigh in on the conversation, we're giving you an open platform to thousands of people that are falconers to speak, and you refuse to speak. So, I mean, you know what I mean? I've tried to sign up for NAFA like 10 times. I was a member for like 10 years when I was a kid. And it was like through my mom's email address, because I was like 13. And then I tried to join again, and it's like, oh, your name is already registered, so you need the password. My mom doesn't remember the password to her email. She can't even get back into it. So then they made me a new like login thing. I used all the login information, and it did not work. And I said, you know what? I said, I'm not gonna I'll join, but I'm not gonna break my freaking back to join. You know what I mean?
That's me. Usually when I renew is only because I go to the NAFA meet and they re-sign me up when I'm there.
Right. Which makes it super easy and convenient.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. In the past I have pouted and had some kind of problem with them over something they did and kind of, went on a temporary protest.
You want to talk about that at all?
No, man. I'm good.
I'm just kidding.
But I think that's kind of what led to them calling me a few times. They're like, somebody sure it's cool. But But yeah, no,
I don't know.
sick of signing up for shit, man. Sick of renewing stuff all the time. So,
yeah, I got to renew my Jersey club membership. I signed up for 5 years because I hated doing it every year. So I just paid for like 5 or 3 years in advance, and it expired. And I'm like, oh my god! And like now I got to do it again. It's annoying.
They should do a lifetime membership that's like, cost a bunch of money, but you never have to renew.
Dude, Falconers are so cheap. There's no way anybody would spend any significant amount of money.
No, that's
I
true.
bet Seth would be a lifetime member.
Well, I mean, of course, there's a couple Falconers that would be a lifetime member. Jeff, I did want to ask you like what you're doing, because like you have like awesome squirrel hawking videos, and then you're just like flying through the woods, like jumping over logs with your motorcycle, and then shooting an air rifle like a ridiculous distance.
Oh, dude, man, like, yeah. My friends make fun of like my Instagram's chaotic. It's just like you never know what you're going to see on there. You kind of know what you're going to see, but you also don't.
It says it right on the top: falconry, air rifles, dirt bikes. So I mean, if anyone gets mad at you, it literally says it on the top of the page.
Yeah, no, man, dude, I have a lot of stuff going on in the off season, man. It's like summertime. I'm usually jumping and riding bikes, and I've been last year or so been doing a lot of competitive shooting. So, and still doing, abatement work and, shooting a lot of pigeons as well for work. So, yeah, man. And then recently opened this Cerakote shop. So, I've been Cerakoting guns too. So yeah.
What is it? Cerakote? What is it, like powder coating? But what is it?
Yeah, kind of similar. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, the shooting pigeons thing I've heard is like real good money. Like shooting them pigeons, man. There's money in that, from what I've heard.
So much fun.
Yeah.
There's definitely money in it, but like, yeah, it's really just a lot of fucking fun.
Yeah, I went with a friend of mine. I'm not gonna say who he was because it was kind of like on the DL, but we went to a very well known public transport landmark to shoot pigeons, and it was all like they paid us, like the city paid us, and we went there, and we had like 10 cops with us. I mean, we're just blasting like shooting pigeons in a place where if you even said, I have a weapon, they would just tackle you to the ground. And it was just, it was crazy. It was so interesting. And I heard, I got whatever I got to help out and whatever, but I heard what the bill was. And I'm like, holy crap. All we did was drive into the city at 12 o'clock at night and shoot like 15 pigeons. And it was like $5,000. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, man. When we do it, we're shooting really high-end air rifles. I have, thermal scopes, I have a lot of money tied into it. And of course, insurance, there's a lot of risk. So, it's, I show up with professional equipment and, charge professional prices. But that is one of the fun parts of that job is just the places you get to go. I mean, man, some of the places I've been able to access it, and like you said, with a gun, like it's super cool. I was talking to Aaron a little bit about this earlier, but like we did a lot of work at the Nashville airport, and that was a crazy job. And we did some air rifle work there. And I was there one night. We were on the ramp and we were getting pigeons out from under the jetways, and I had a hawk with me. I had my air rifle too, and my air rifle was on my back. And this is like at like 1 a.m, like all the flights have like stopped. And anyway, my hawk went after a pigeon that flushed out from under the jetway and caught it out on the ramp. So I walk out there, I'm on the ramp like dealing with this hawk, whatever, trading them off. I've had this air rifle on my back, and I turned back toward the concourse. In the window of the concourse at one of these gates, there's like 50, 60 people just like glued to the window, like looking at me out there on the ramp. And it looks like some kind of like post-apocalyptic, like I'm out there with this air rifle and a hawk, and I've got this dead pigeon, and I'm like, oh man, dude, I'm going to be like all over the place now. I've been like, everybody's videoing me, they've got their phones out. I'm like, oh God. But But yeah, it had to be like a pretty crazy scene. So I had to go inside and then like talk to everybody and kind of do the little
PR
and do the PR and whatnot. But yeah, man, we've had some crazy experiences. So we're fixing to start our Starling contract. We did downtown Nashville, and that's a crazy job. It's like right in the tourist part of town, and it's a big Starling roost, and we work it for like 2 months, man. It's just like drunk tourists everywhere, pedal taverns, just like, it's crazy, man. We're turning birds loose down there. So this all shit happens.
Dude, downtown Nashville is wild.
Yeah. It's just gotten worse and worse, too.
Did you ever see the dude with half a head? Was his brain exposed?
No, I don't think I've seen a lot of varieties of of weird down there. I have not seen this one.
Yeah, this guy, I think it was last summer, he had like the front of his skull was surgically like removed to relieve swelling. And,
oh God.
And he wouldn't stay in the hospital, and they can't keep him there against his will. So he went out and hit the streets in Nashville. So this guy's walking around, and he's got like you could literally see his brain.
God.
Yeah, Aaron sent it to me. It made me nauseous.
Oh man, I'm glad my bird didn't like land on it and start like
your Harris Hawk just hits his brain and starts eating.
Did I try to think? Yeah.
My stomach just turned thinking about that. John, friend of the show, John Munier, aka John Munier. He told me that he went down there with you looking for rats and could find none, which that really surprised me.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we caught quite a few with the Harris Hawks down there when we were working the Starling job last summer. So, but yeah, we went down there and looked around. We didn't find anything. So that was kind of disappointing.
I mean,
they got to be there.
It's a good thing, I guess, because when we go to DC, which is the most fun that you will ever have off season of hawking, besides shooting pigeons with an air rifle. I mean, they're literally like crawling everywhere. Like wherever you are, they're running across the road. It's like they're everywhere, and you can't get away from them. So the fact you weren't seeing them is probably a good thing in reality.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a good job. I mean, they keep the garbage picked up pretty good. I mean, it's like Jonathan was noticing stuff like that too. It was just a lot cleaner than in some of these other places that you guys have been having success with that. So, but there's like a group, like a downtown partnership that like kind of is contracted to maintain that touristy area downtown. That's actually who we work for. We contract with them, and they do a pretty good job of managing that downtown area and keeping it clean. I mean, hence the reason we're there. They have us there getting rid of the birds, so they're on top of the rat problem as well.
I don't know if there's any hope for DC. It's
yeah.
No, they got like poison sitting out in the open. They got rat stuff everywhere, and it's still infested.
Part of it has to do with the age, I guess. Like southern cities are not very old cities, so to speak.
I wouldn't know. I'm a Yankee for now.
Well, General Sherman burned us down, man.
Yeah,
he killed all the rats when he came through.
Yeah,
that's a dirty game down here.
Yeah, everybody's nicer though. I'll say that.
Yeah, we were beat into submission.
Yeah, that's why you're all so nice.
Put y'all in y'all's place.
All right, Jeff. You got anything else you'd like to get out there?
No, man. No, I didn't talk all day, so.
And we appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, man, it's been fun. I know I've been kind of like shaking you guys off a little bit, but had to make y'all work for it a little bit.
Yeah, otherwise we wouldn't appreciate it.
Yeah, he was. He knows. Listen, he's dealing with celebrities. He knows you got to build the hype. But when he keeps saying, "No, I'm too busy. No, I ain't got time. It just makes us want him even more. So we just keep going back. I said, listen, I'm not trying to annoy you. But I said, when are you around? You're like, yeah, I'll come on. I was like, yes, all right, let's do it.
Maybe you got a Goshawk out of it. Who knows?
It's the offer stands, man. The offer stands. I'll come hawk with you, and then you can just keep her and fly her.